Hey y'all, so I am back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing my own nails. Now I'm going to hop right into it and start off by telling you guys I have just filed down my previous set. I was going to soak it off, but I just filed it down real thin, and then I came in with my hand file and filed off what was left. So now I'm going to be getting into my natural nail prep. I'm going to start by just spraying my hands with some alcohol. And then I'm going to push back my epinicium. So when it comes to removing your nails, the best way to do it is to soak them off. Now I am very familiar with the nail drill, so I know exactly how far to go down. So that's why I can just file these down really thin, and then when they're thin enough, I'll come in with my hand file and just file off the rest, so I won't risk the chance of burning them with the nail drill. And speaking of electric nail files, I got a new one. So I got the D&D, and really what happened, the one that I had was a Erica AT, something like that. I'll put it up on the screen, but it was really good. I really liked the power of it, but my hand piece, I dropped it and it just started acting up. It had, you can tell, like a short in it or something. And so like when I would move the cord, sometimes it'll work, and it was a mess. I went to the website and tried to see if they just provided the handpiece, and they did not for that type of machine that I had. So I guess it was already, you know, discontinued. So then I went and I looked for other drills, just hand pieces, and they were about the same price as you would get for just the whole entire nail file. So I just got a new one. I hated to do it too, because I mean, this one was like $250. So yeah. But you know how it is when you're using these e-files pretty frequently, then I mean, you can't help but to expect some wear and tear. So I'm coming in with my cuticle bit, and I'm just going around the back of that nail, trying to detach all of that dead skin. And I normally have a lot of buildup, so I have to go in, okay? And so far this drill is working pretty good. I do notice though, if I put down too much pressure, when I'm using my sanding band, it'll stop on me and then it'll start back up. So I have not gotten used to it yet. The one that I had, it did not have the numbers on it. As you can see, this one has the numbers on it. So I always just went by sound. And this one, y'all, is pretty quiet. It's not very loud at all. So it's kind of hard to do that. So I'm still learning it, and I'm still trying to figure out the speeds and the numbers. So it's a whole dealio. I sure hated that my other one messed up. So next I'm going to come in with a sanding band, and normally I would use just the brown one, which is the very soft 180. This one is a medium grit, and I'm doing that just because I still have just a little bit of acrylic left. And I normally just play with the numbers. I start at the lowest, of course, which is 5. I'm at 5 right now, and it seems to be doing pretty good. And normally too, when it's skipping, it means that your drill is not up enough for what you're trying to do. But like I said, I'm trying to learn this, honey. I don't want to be burning nobody. So I'm starting low and working my way up. Okay, so I went in and I took my nippers and clipped away any of that dead skin, and I nipped myself too. Never fails when I do myself. But now moving on to tips, I'm going to use these ones that I got off of Amazon. And one of my sweet subscribers mentioned this to me, and she was saying that they are more affordable than Zuley's. And yeah, I just went and checked them out, and I really have been liking them. They're the Coffin No C-Curve tips, and yeah, I really like them. They're not flattened, but they still have less of a C-curve. Now I'm going to be going for a tapered square look, but I'm using the Coffin, and I'm going to use a size just a little bit bigger than what I actually need. And then when I apply my acrylic, I'm going to sculpt as if I'm doing tapered square. And then when I finish file, I'm also going to finish file as if I'm doing tapered square. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because I want the tip portion of my nail to be that tapered square, but I want them to be kind of narrow too. So I'm going for in between Coffin tapered. So that's why I'm using these. So I'll apply these and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I have these cut down to the length that I want, and I'm not going to do any side filing on these. Like I said, I want to keep them the way they are. I want the thickness, the wideness, and then the whole narrowness. So I'm not going to do anything extra. What I am going to do is come in with my Bead and just blend my tips. So for this one, I have it on 7, and I'm just going to blend. And I'm only blending back here. You don't never want to blend already your natural nail, just right here where the tip meets it. Okay, I got them all filed, blended, and then I went and took my brush, brushed away any dust with alcohol, and now I'm going to show y'all the products I'm using. So this is from Wapazima, y'all. I don't know the name. This one was in a collection, of course, because I got the name covered, but look how pretty that color is. I'm using that yellow, and then I'm going to use Valentino's Princetta, a very pretty pink. And then I'm going to be using some of these, let's see, I'm going to use these butterflies, and then these little flowers. So I'm going to use that. And I got these in my last AliExpress haul. So I'll make sure to put the link for those in the description. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is apply my little butterflies in flowers. So the way I'm going to do that, y'all, I got me LED flashlight with the little silicone squeegee on the end. So I've been using the heck out of it. Okay, I'm smashing everything inside. Nothing is coming out now that I got this. And I got it from Amazon, so I'll be sure to put the link too also in the description. And I'm just going to start. I'm going to dab just a little bit of gel base. This one I got from AliExpress. It's nothing major, just any kind of little gel base. And I'm going to pick up my little butterfly. I'm moving them around because I don't want him on the sides or on the tip. Well, let me start over. I moved it around too much, so I'll put some there. Okay, now I got them. All right, let me scoot them down. Right there's good. Okay, now I'm just going to take my flashlight and squeeze that on, and I only do it for like 10 seconds because I'm going to fill it up and then I'll cure it for a full like 30-60 seconds. See how flat that is? Boom. That's what you want when you're encapsulating anything. So I'm going to move on to some flowers. And these are more like paper. So once I finish sticking all of these on and then curing them, I'm going to put a top coat over it just to be sure, because I don't want no trouble, okay? Like I said, these are paper and I don't know how it's going to hold up against the clear acrylic, so I want to be sure to do that just in case. And you don't need a lot when you put down your little base. And so far, I'm only doing these on the tips. I'm not gonna go onto my nail bed because I'm gonna be doing an ombre, but I still haven't prepped my nail bed. I'm just doing this first just to get it out the way. Okay, now that I gave it a full cure, I'm gonna go in with a non-wipe top coat and just place it right over those little butterflies and flowers. And then cure that for a full 60 seconds. Even though it's a non-wipe top coat, I'm still gonna go in and wipe away. All right, now I'm gonna come in with my dehydrator. And then my primer, both from Mia's Secret. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I think, is take my poinsettia and ombre this. So I always start by dipping my brush in, getting all the bubbles out of it, making sure it's nice and clean, wipe it away. And I'm gonna go in and pick up my first bead. So I'm gonna start with a small bead. Like that. Drain the liquid, and I'm going to come in, place it right there, and I'm going to hold it there. Wipe my brush, press the product in. Once I have it in and I know it's not going to move, I'm going to start on the side and bring it down. And then I'm going to start working my way through the center, using the body if I need to. I'm going to come to the back of it, the bead, and make sure that it is also blended in, keeping that product in. Okay. See how I'm cleaning my brush constantly. Gonna wipe away any residue. Make sure that I got my blend there. Okay, now I'm gonna work on to another bead. Go in my liquid. When I go in, I'm tapping away. And then this is the side that I'm going to pick up my bead on. So I'm gonna take my brush, flip it, pick up another bead. Small, drain it, place my bead there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press it in, sides, center. Clean my brush, wipe it away, flatten out the back. Clean my brush. And when I put it in here, I'm doing this just to moisten the bristles, because you never want to go in and try to smooth your beads with a dry brush. So when I go in, I'm not dipping it in, I'm only dipping it on the side of it, side of the dapping dish, and then I'll come out and I'll tap it because I don't want it to be full of liquid at all. I just want it moist. And now I'm just smoothing. So I'm going to come in with my cuticle bead. Tap, tap, tap. Pick up a small bead. Drain it. Place it at the back, and I'm kind of pushing it to the cuticle. Now I'm going to do my sides. Being very careful. Blend it all in. So I'm going to come in with my clear. And I've already begun to build my apex, so I don't need a lot back there. Now I'm going to focus on filling all of this in and capping those flowers. So I'm going to make sure my brush is really clean. Pick up a medium bead. Let's see, yeah, that's good. I'm going to drain it. And then I'm going to place it in the center. And then I'm going to push it all in. And I didn't do this one too wet, but what I'm doing is I'm keeping it all in the center, so that way I'm not touching the surface of it. So as I'm not touching the surface, I'm not putting any bubbles in there. So now I'm just starting to shift it from the sides and start working it down. And then I'm going to come back here because this is important. You want to make sure that this is blended. Now I'm going to start working it down to the tip. Okay, now I'm going to go in, make sure that my brush is nice and wet. I'm going to start smoothing it out. Going to flatten out the tip. Make sure that my sides are smooth. Okay, I'm going to come in with one more bead to kind of blend all of those, blend basically this and that together. And I don't need a lot. So about this much. Right there, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold it, bring it in. Flatten out the back. Then I'm going to start with my sides first, and then just blend that through. Maybe one more bead for my apex. Right there. Okay, so moving on to the pinky, I'm going to use that yellow color. And this color, it's not so much as powdery, it's just taking forever to dry. So I really dried out my bead when I picked it up, and now I'm just pulling it through that tip and trying to get it as opaque as I can. And I ended up using this color on a client the next day after I used it on myself, and I was able to work it a whole lot better. Just when I'm doing it on myself, it is a little bit harder, but I basically just really took the time and drained it out a long time before I even placed it onto the tip. So that's how I was able to use that powder. Now I'm coming in and I'm just going to create an ombre, and I'm using that same color from Valentino, and I'm starting off with small beads and then I'm just going to build it up. So with this set, I'm really focusing on my apex placement. So that's why you see me just taking my time building it up each little bead by little bead, and that really seems to make for a neater set overall. So I'm going to finish building up this nail, and then as you can see for the middle finger, I just went ahead and did a solid with that pink Valentino, and then when I come to the pointer finger, I'm going to do that one also with the Valentino pink, but I want my tip to be kind of clear. I want it to be a fade up from that pink into a clear tip. So that's why you're going to see me building this one like this. Okay, so this is just my application, and now I'll go in and file them and be back. Okay, so I have completed them, all my application, all my filing, washed them, and now I'm ready for my design. So the design I'm gonna do a 3D flower on this one. So the first thing I'm gonna do is top coat that nail and get that going. Okay, so I have that cured, so I'm gonna wipe away that little sticky layer. And then for my flower, to start off, I'm going to do my centerpiece. So for my centerpiece, I'm going to use diamonds. So I'm gonna buff where those diamonds are gonna go. Don't need a lot, just a little. That's probably too much, but it'll be all right. An ugly duckling crystal gel. That's where my little center is gonna go. I'm gonna load that up with the gel. And then to go around that one, I'm gonna take these ones. They're almost like a champagne gold. I'll use those. And I'm just gonna line it around that AB. Now I'm going to take that yellow color, and that's what I'm going to use to create my flowers. And since this color was already so hard to deal with, I'm going to add a little bit of acetone in my monomer. Okay, and the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do just a outline on this one, and I'm gonna use Madame Glam's Bright Honey, which I think goes pretty darn good with the color that I have on. I'm gonna add just a touch of white, just to lighten it up just a little bit. Okay, y'all, so that is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in another video. Bye.